A tragedy occurs. The police finish their investigation. And now all that's left is the emotional impact on the victims' families and the tangible mess the event has left behind. No family wants to be responsible for cleaning up after a loved one's demise. That difficult task is better suited for a company like Trauma Scene Cleanup. ILStv asked Claude Bartholomew, owner of the Victoria, BC branch of Trauma Scene Cleanup, exactly what type of work they do and what kind of person it takes to do it.
First of all, you have to be willing to expose yourself to it, right? So it's not a type of position where we're going to go and do a cleanup as you would clean up someone's house. We're cleaning up not just the physical, but some of the psychological sort of fallout of what's happened from that incident. So the individual needs to be aware of that before. So some of the things that we would deal with is, say, post-accident. So in the event that it was a serious accident, but the vehicle can be fixed, then they would go in and assess, is there blood in the vents? What has to happen? Does things need to take apart? Is there any infectious disease? That would be one area. Another one would be hoarding. So someone has passed away and their estate needs to be cataloged and they haven't been in a basement in 30 years, or they just purchased things and left it in the house where there's just enough space for an individual to walk through the house. So we would deal with that. We also deal with the drug paraphernalia. So needles left in obviously high trafficked areas and sometimes not so high traffic areas. And then things that sort of come up. So someone has a bleed and it's in the bathroom of a gas station and they find out that the Hep C or Hep B is an issue, then we would come in because we're all suited up and we have the cleaning products to actually take care of that. So
it is not a job for the faint of heart, as often the trauma scene is a gruesome reminder of our fragile and tenuous existence.
One of our first jobs on the island involved obviously a natural death. Someone passed on, and it involved pets, and it involved multiple weeks of no sort of contact with people, neighbors or anything. So you can draw the conclusion as to how that looked and smelt and everything else.
With his master's degree in social work and a background in palliative and emergency room care, Claude understands the importance of closure, not only for himself, but for distraught family members as well.
The more information I have before I go on site, the more I can prepare. For instance, in emergency services, how I'd have closure is I'd always have to see how the person lived. So for me to have a closure at each scene, I'd have to see a person's face. So were they distressed? Were they very relaxed? How did they sort of exit the world? And that would give me closure at an emergency scene. With this, what I find is the more information I have, then I can sort of prepare. Am I going to be dealing with very stressed family members, or are there no family members? Am I dealing with just professionals like the insurance company and the lawyer? So it's a different approach.